Friendship is a bond forged in trust, but trust is fragile. Once shattered, it cannot be mended. Ethan had shared a lifetime of memories with Marcus. They were brothers in everything but blood, their families intertwined. Yet, one fateful evening, Ethan uncovered a betrayal so profound it consumed his every waking moment. The betrayal began with whispers, a late-night message, a misplaced phone call. What he uncovered left him hollow. His wife, Claire, and his best friend, Marcus, had been carrying on an affair for months. Worse, Claire was pregnant, and from their messages, it was clear Marcus might be the father. Ethan's world crumbled, but instead of confronting them, his despair gave birth to something darker, a thirst for revenge. Ethan's anger simmered under a calm facade. He knew Marcus well enough to predict his moves. Instead of rage, Ethan adopted a mask of normalcy. He would wait for the perfect moment to strike, not with fists, but with precision. The first step of his plan was Vanessa, Marcus's wife. A kind-hearted woman who had sacrificed her ambitions for her family, Vanessa had long endured Marcus's inattentiveness. Ethan approached her carefully, positioning himself as a supportive friend. "It's strange," Ethan said, one evening over coffee, his voice heavy with faint sadness. "Claire seems distant these days. Have you noticed anything unusual about Marcus?" Vanessa hesitated, her brow furrowing. "I thought it was just me. He's been distant too. Working late. Coming home smelling like someone else's perfume." The seed was planted. Vanessa's suspicions, stoked by Ethan, began to grow. As Ethan worked on Vanessa, he also turned his attention to Lily, Marcus's 19-year-old daughter. Lily had always seen Ethan as a mentor, someone who listened without judgment. He used this trust to pull her closer. "You've always been smarter than most people your age," Ethan told her during one of her visits. "I wish I'd had your focus when I was your age." Lily's cheeks flushed at his praise. She began to spend more time at Ethan's house, seeking his guidance on everything from her studies to her insecurities. Ethan's advances were subtle at first, a hand lingering on her shoulder, a compliment delivered with an intensity that made her heart race. Slowly, he blurred the lines between affection and something more sinister. Vanessa, now emotionally reliant on Ethan, confided in him about her frustrations with Marcus. During one particularly heated conversation, Ethan made his move. "You deserve better," he said softly, taking her hand. Tears welled in Vanessa's eyes as she leaned into him. "I just feel so invisible." Ethan kissed her, and Vanessa didn't resist. Their affair began that night, and Vanessa, believing Ethan's attentions were genuine, fell deeper into his trap. At the same time, Ethan escalated his relationship with Lily. She confided in him about her fears and dreams, and he exploited her vulnerability. One evening, during a study session, their relationship crossed an irreversible boundary. Weeks later, the consequences of Ethan's actions began to unfold. First came Vanessa. She called Ethan in tears, her voice trembling. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. Ethan masked his shock, reassuring her that he would stand by her. But before he could process this news, Lily came to him with the same revelation. "Ethan, I don't know what to do," Lily sobbed. "I'm pregnant." Ethan felt the weight of his revenge spiraling out of control. 2 pregnancies, 1 devastating secret. But the climax was yet to come. Ethan orchestrated a family dinner, inviting both families under the guise of reconciliation. Marcus and Claire arrived, their interactions strained but civil. Vanessa and Lily were also present, their secret pregnancies weighing heavily on their minds. Ethan waited until the main course was served before striking. "I think it's time we put everything on the table," Ethan began, his voice calm but cutting. "Marcus, why don't you tell Vanessa about your affair with Claire?" The room fell silent. Marcus froze, his fork halfway to his mouth. Claire gasped, her face draining of color. "What are you talking about?" Marcus stammered. "Don't play dumb," Ethan snapped, his voice rising. "I know about the affair. I know about the baby Claire is carrying, your baby." Vanessa stared at Marcus in disbelief. "Is this true?" she demanded. Marcus stuttered, unable to deny it. Vanessa stood, her voice shaking with fury. "You've been cheating on me. After everything I've done for you." But Ethan wasn't finished. He turned to Claire. "You're not innocent either, Claire. You've been lying to me for months. But don't worry, I've been keeping busy too." The room erupted as Ethan dropped his bombshell. "Vanessa and I are together now. And, Marcus, you'll be thrilled to know she's pregnant with my child." The chaos escalated further when Lily, tears streaming down her face, stood and shouted, "I'm pregnant too. And it's Ethan's." The aftermath was catastrophic. Marcus, overwhelmed by the double betrayal, lashed out at Ethan, but Vanessa intervened. "You don't get to play the victim," Vanessa screamed. "You destroyed this family long before Ethan did." Claire, sobbing uncontrollably, stormed out of the house, vowing never to forgive Ethan. Lily, humiliated and heartbroken, fled as well. In the days that followed, the families fell apart completely. Claire filed for divorce, moving out of town to start over. Vanessa, disillusioned and heartbroken, left Marcus and decided to raise her child alone. Lily dropped out of university, retreating into isolation. As for Marcus, the betrayals left him a broken man, abandoned by both his wife and daughter. Ethan, once consumed by revenge, was left alone in the wreckage he had created. He had succeeded in ruining Marcus's life, but at the cost of his own. The children born from this tangled web of betrayal grew up as innocent reminders of the choices their parents had made. For Ethan, every day was a painful reckoning, a reminder that revenge is a double-edged sword, one that cuts deeper than he had ever imagined.